Hello, everyone. Welcome. For some reason, I was missing, and then I was like, okay, I'm here. So, we're ready. We're starting up. I don't know how you are. It's Thursday. And Thursday has become one of my favorite days because we're streaming the Thursday Mixdown. This is it. I'm as enthusiastic as I was with the modular Mondays, but I decided to give Thursdays the mix deal. Okay? So we're in Nuendo already, but it doesn't mean we gotta start right off the bat. Because the last thing I wanna do is rush over stuff. We're in the studio, we're having a good time. It's like you were here with me, and we got this track that is by Sleeps Under Beams, Drew Campbell. The song's called Quill and I remember Quill and Blood, I think. That's the title of the song. You'll find credits down below here. Drew has been kind enough. Many of you know it here. You know what he does. You know him. And he is, first off, I can call him friend because we've known each other now for quite some time, right? So, and it is a really nice track. That's absolutely true. True. So, what we're doing is he gave me a lot of the tracks that Sleep Under Beans have done, and over the years, some of them are new, some of them are old, and I picked one because we started developing a template for mixing. So it's like an Alberto mixes Drew, okay? Now, the concept that I want to stress is that we're mixing Drew. We got like a lot of artistic license because he's a really nice guy, but he's also a very good producer for what he does. So we're mixing his stuff, and we'll take this to also kind of utilize new plugins when they come out. Maybe if there's been talk over Discord, if we've been talking about a plugin together, or you ask me about something that, for example, hasn't been used in a while, or you were looking forward to maybe buy it on sale, something like that. We use this as an environment to test stuff out, which I think is kind of nice. It's gonna be cool because we experiment, we do new things, but we do old stuff because I'm gonna pick some of my old favorites for sure. And we kind of blend this vibe of going to mix, a song, which is what we would like to do. So we have Nuendo here. And for those of you who weren't, with me the last 2 weeks, we have done some templating, meaning we have called upon the template that I have for mixing. We kind of gave it a refreshing new, we freshened it up. That's the word I was looking for. We created meters, we created basses, we worked on the basses, we worked on some of the effects, we worked on some of the strings. And we didn't really commit to kind of create a lot of, the specifics. As far as I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, crew, because I might be completely wrong. But I remember we kind of gave it a shape because we're utilizing this song to also say, okay, what if we were mixing a record by Drew? We're not mixing a single song from somebody who's just popping at the door and saying, yo, I live nearby. I just saw you moved in. Can you mix my track? This is nothing like this. This is somebody we know, somebody we're working together with, and together we do this sort of like a simulated scenario for sure. But what if we have more songs? Because that's something a lot of people don't realize. There's not just a one-off thing with a lot of EPs and records. You want to have a contextualized vision. I'm good with words. I had a good dinner, so I'm thinking that's why this is happening. We utilize this song to say, okay, let's listen to it. We know it's gonna be a different song each time, but there's gonna be some common grounds on them because it's Drew, it's his project, stuff like that, right? So I'm coming back to it after a week, and I'm looking at the session, and I want to guide you through what I have here because I don't quite remember if we probably kind of had anything going on in terms of processing. I'm gonna go left to right. I'm gonna make, as usual, myself a tiny little bit smaller because that's what we do. I want to give you the most real estate possible on screen so that you don't lose track, but I'm still here. You can see me. That's good. So this is Nuendo. It's the same as Cubase, but cooler people use it. No, it is a more sort of like all out, full fledged workstation for immersive audio, game audio, and stuff like that. But at the essence of its routing and of its roots, it's as powerful as Cubase is, or vice versa. Okay. So this is my mixer, and it's easier to look at the mixer than to look at these tracks because, as you can see, there's kind of a rainbowish thing. They're all folders that we put these things in. Oh, it's also reconstructing waveforms for whatever reason. I have no idea. Why would it, though? Well, okay, we'll let it do it. You might be hearing, I'm going to shut up and maybe you can hear some hiss. Can you hear it? Crew, can you hear it? For sure. I can hear it. I don't have my monitors very loud, but they're very far, the atoms. But the huge speakers are kind of saying, tss. There's like this level here. And this, I was you don't hear it. Okay. I can see it on my meter, on the digital meter, the hardware one that I have here on my right. I see some level at about minus 68 dBFS. Okay. And it's floating there. We luckily have, maybe if you put headphones on, because I'm thinking like, would YouTube kind of carb it? I don't really see it on the meters on the streaming rig, but it goes down to minus 40. So I'm curious. Oh, well, I see it at about minus 68. So it's obvious I cannot see it on the meters, but just so you know, these happens to be our beloved soft tube tape echoes, echoes, whatever. I call them echoes. I don't know. Echoes. This thing is beautiful. There's no noise control that I know of. There might be, and I have it in front of my face and I don't see it, but whatever. So it's kind of hissing around and it's placed on the frame drums. We could gate it. I think we should gate it just to keep it silent. But just so you know, because I know people are going to say that. And before I start, absolutely, before I forget, and we move into the mixing session, I just want to celebrate with you that, I have some lingo from the streamer gamers that I have some students that kind of led me into knowing the lingo. So it's typical to say like W to say like something or someone's really good, and L is the opposite. It's like it's really bad. So I gotta say W Valeria, my wife, my beloved and most beautiful wife, who might be watching right now, maybe, and she's standing there silent. Can you see the lighting? How much of an improvement it is? Honest. Is it better? It is better. It looks better. Like I am completely 200% sexier than I was in the last stream. There's like no doubt on it. Absolutely. Absolutely no doubt. So now that I said that, let me save it. There's no discussion. There's no discussion. This is what it is. I'm looking at, yes, okay, we posted the mixing thing, okay, on Discord. It's just much better. Would you care seeing how it was before? Because I could just give you, like, she lent me her key ring. So there's kind of a different point. There's a different light point that we set up. I'm not even gonna do comparisons. You go watch my previous videos, you'll see like this is I would say 250% at least sexier, which I know is what will drive all of your interest, because plugins have no power over pure sexiness. Okay? And since my wife did it, I couldn't be happier about it, because she was like, no, we need to fix the lighting here. I saw your last stream. This gotta be better. What would I do without her? Honest. You know that everything I've done pretty much that worked out. If you were able to learn anything in music production, it's because she's around and she exists. Because if she weren't here, I wouldn't probably be able to sit here and stream and do stuff. So it's just, we know, right? Behind every man, there's like a woman, especially behind a great man, there's like an amazingly patient woman. Okay, so we have it. You know, this was very important. I just saw myself in the streaming rig and I was like, if I pass on the opportunity of saying this with what I'm seeing, I'm like, I cannot even talk. I'm mesmerized by the fact that I'm like, am I that guy there? I mean, this is amazing. Am I that guy there? Come on, it's amazing. Am I that guy there? Forget about it. Okay, so, Nuendo. That's the session. This is what happens in real studios. You horse around for hours. So, realistic, real world mixing session for you right here. So, session. We got Nuendo. We got the brown tracks at the bottom are the drums. We got kick mic, snare, frame drums, hi-hat, toms, overheads, room, compressed drums, and reverb. So Drew gave us some mojo, some reverb. Then we got bass guitar, DI, and something else. I think we need to make this a little bit easier to spot because I can't see really. Okay, the names here. Okay, let's do this. This is quite important because if you don't really see, okay, synth bass, synth BS, okay. If you don't really see the names of stuff and you're still orienteering yourself, Marco laughed about that. He was seriously in trouble. Like, he couldn't type from like, why is there some sexiness out of there? And I explained to him, and now everything makes sense. You know, I know. It's like, okay, now it makes sense. So we got orange 4 guitars. These are electric guitars that I usually kind of like to alternate between orange and kind of ochre. I don't know. What kind of color is that? Like a different orange? Like apricot, probably. It's like apricot. So peach-ish. Merillen. How many names do apricots have in German? A lot. So then there's another one, and then there's acoustic guitars here, the green ones. Then we got synthesizers, and we got strings. It's coming back to me. Okay, so the string section, it's not just strings. I think there's brass as well. No, it was strings only. Okay, so we designed some reverb and space for the orchestral stuff, and we pushed it backwards. I remember that. That was good. We built a 3 reverb system in which Cinematic Rooms Pro, Matt, if you're watching these from Liquid Sonics, I mean, he knows that, so I shouldn't repeat that. This is one of my absolute favorite reverbs, especially for what I do. It's unbelievable. You open it, it stays on Cinematic, on Amethyst All, and you can even leave it there. Then we used 7th Heaven Pro, and then we used East-West. We gave it a Burbank scoring stage. We designed that. I remember that now. Then we've got all kicks, all snares. We designed a side chain, and we built our bussing system that is mostly featuring Bloom. Okay? This is the round down. Then we have the 2500 on the mix bus, followed by the curved bender set on something we liked. We gave it a kind of a sound, and gold clip. I was recently very bashed by somebody on YouTube because I used this plugin that is apparently super wrong and super broken and super everything. I honestly like it a lot, but I'm broken myself. So there's something the plugin speaks to me that I kind of understand from life itself. So, you know, I'm not going to say it's going to work for you, but if this was broken and Ryan would fix it, I would ask him to give me the previous version that was not broken. According to this person who wrote me, this thing is like all over the place or completely wrong, all there. Marco says, same here, gold clip and also orange clip. Orange clip and gold clip are probably, I mean, gold clip I use once on the final basses, but orange clip I use everywhere in my music. And I've used the plugin, the FL Studio plugin that Orange Clip takes inspiration from, but then I used Orange Clip. But I was very used to that kind of wave shaping soft clipping because of other people I worked with that we was exchanging stuff with FL Studio, which by the way, you should not laugh about because FL Studio is a super amazing DAW. You can make tons of good music there. You shouldn't bash people because they use FL Studio. It's perfectly fine. It actually has amazing plugins. End of the digression. So if this plugin is broken and Ryan of Gold Clip of Schwabe Digital, Ryan Schwabe fixes it, which I hope it doesn't because I don't think it is broken, I would use the previous version. I'm telling you that. I would never update. If it says like I fix it because it was broken, I'm like, no. Little less on CPU and far more on single tracks. Yeah, exactly. And it can be kind of tamed. There's a track version of Gold Clip that's supposed to be kind of like zero latency, probably like easier on the CPU. Then we ended up on the ML1 because that's my number one most used peak limiter in my history. And we're good to go. So what I want to do is I just want to start from the beginning and we give it a listen together. What do you think, crew? Let's do that. Boom.
If I were to write you, now with green and ink, it would be my own blood, a reminder of my testament. I pledge for you in love, the sanded parchment I'd spill my secrets just before ask you to be with you when you want to know such only one.
All right. So I stop it here for two reasons. I haven't heard from Drew, but when I heard this, I said there is something wrong with probably the bass against everything else because the track, as you can see here from the edit window, are kind of shifted. They're printed differently for some reason. Now, what we can do is let's try and address this because it's a very common issue when you exchange tracks with people and things like that. I'm going to go to File Browser. And I'm going to go to Friend Session. I'm right here. And I'm going to go Bass. And there's this bass amp, guitar, bass. What is this? Bass, guitar, the DIQB, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to redrag it because maybe I did something myself that was wrong. Let's try and do this, which is probably, could have happened. No, you see that? It's kind of like exactly the same thing. So I have no idea, but I might have an idea of where they should go. But as I said before, we shouldn't really give it for granted because sometimes in Drew's music, there are throws of things that are supposed to be sort of like curveballs that are hard to understand and they make sense later on in the arrangement. But here I'm thinking something's off, okay? So why did I want to start from the beginning? I want to start from the beginning because I said it very fast, because that's the first impression you're going to leave on people and it's going to be super meaningful. It has to make sense. It has to be amazing. It has to just completely draw the listener in, okay? So what I think we should work on is definitely there's no atmosphere for the vocals. The vocals have to float like there's no tomorrow. We have to design a space, and this would be hours or at least a session with the artist, okay? So I want to make absolutely clear when we're straying from the real world path, I'm going to raise a hand and tell you. I'm raising a hand and telling you. We would work on this with the artist. You can't, as a mixing engineer, do it on your own and send them versions. You have to work with the artist, especially on something like the atmosphere of all this, okay? And vocals are unbelievably there. They're ready. They're doing their own things. They need to be specific. So number one, we need to design space for the vocals. We need to find something that is sentimental, that is emotional. And then the second thing is I'm thinking the bass is off. I might have an idea of where it would start, which is probably with the drums themselves. But what I would like to do is I'm gonna mute the bass, or actually, do we have a VCA that we set up? We didn't. Okay. So I'm gonna take bass all here. I'm gonna go to VCA and I'm gonna define, how do we define a VCA here? We need to go group or something. Do I have it? Do we go here? Oh, yeah, we go. Oh no, we did it. Okay. So I had them hidden. Okay. So if I go mute on these, which I can't, but if I bring the basses down, they'll go down, right? Oh, awesome. Okay. So we don't need to do any of these. I want to mute the bass and just concentrate on another very important thing, which we might do probably a little bit of an absolute scenario. The drums, okay? So let me solo the drums and let's hear how they feel. When they came in, even if I knew that the vocals didn't have the right atmosphere, the drums really woke me up. They really woke me up. And they were like, these things are not ready, okay? They need to be a lot more in the theme. So let's hear how they sound by themselves. When the kick comes in, I'm thinking that would be maybe when the bass comes in or should come in for some reason. So I would even move these here and I would say they need to go back some bars. But again, I'm not sure, okay? So let me take these drums here and let me hear how they sound, and then we'll decide if we want to use these sections. They don't sound bad by themselves, right? You hear this section here in comparison, the intro? It doesn't sound bad, but there's something in the atmospherics of it all that doesn't sound good to me. Now, I've known these kind of tracks for a while. Sometimes you end up mixing something in the section where the drums are busier, and then you come back to the intro and it sounds different, and for that reason you want to rework it. Now, I would say what I want to do is I want to design the drum sound to be working on a combination of instruments in this specific section. And then we see if what I've done works for the other section. There's not a lot of elements, so it's going to be kick, it's going to be hi-hat, and it's going to be overheads, room, comp, and fitting it with reverbs, okay? So sadly we don't have the bass. I'm going to try and move it afterwards. But what I want to do is I want to keep my guitars probably. Let's try that. Okay, so this is good. It's working together. There was probably something with maybe the synths, maybe the vocals themselves. Let me hear the orchestral parts. I can tell you that because at bar, whatever this is here, bar 19, the drums shift and the guitars shift and things like that. This should be the right section. This should be how it works, okay? Again, now when something doesn't line up, you start freaking out because you say, oh gosh, maybe everything's off, okay, somehow. But look at how bar 19 marks the entry point for some tracks and other things, and bar 13 where our drums come in a little bit better. also has keyboards. Okay, so it's got all of these weird arranging parts that kind of clash together and then come in, and then it seems like the snare comes up and then it doesn't. So let's try and get a sound out of this. First and foremost, let me get if the kick is in phase with the other kick, the kick mic. Okay, I don't hear a difference. Reason being, this is really different. Okay, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the all kicks and I'm gonna move it all the way up here. Even if it's a bass, I wanna have it after the kicks because I don't have time to go back and forth on everything. Okay, so this is the all kicks. We know that these two are gonna go together, and I'm gonna make this solo exempt out of the main kick here. So I can do this. You hear how if we raise it too much, the kick loses a little bit of momentum and it doesn't quite sound like the kick that it should be, right? Then there's the hi-hat. And to me, this hi-hat is a little bit too complete. Okay, so I had downloaded the, look, maybe I don't even have days anymore. The 8068, I don't think the demo's gonna even work. See, it expired. The reason why I didn't use it is because there's a latency compensation thing that I think should be improved. And I was worried. See, now we're even gonna crash. Are we? No, hopefully. So the demo has expired. I no longer have demo time on it. We can't use Clear Mountain's 8068. I wanted to, but we can't really do it. So we got two chances here. We can use something clean like Pro Q, or we can use something a little bit fancier and model things on a console thing. Now, I don't really need to do anything really fancy on the hi-hat, so we can use this. You hear what I'm cutting? I don't really like that bottom part. It makes it too heavy. I like hi-hats that are recorded on heavy, big hats, even with a condenser or with a dynamic, but I want that big hi-hat then to be equalized. And I usually EQ that on the get-go. Easy. I mean, I wouldn't do much about that, honestly. You don't need top-notch plugins for doing this stuff. However, let me hear what's going on here. And again, we need guitars, because without context of things, we end up losing it completely. So let me try and do this. Let me try and group things around so that we don't really... Oh, probably the orchestral parts as well. Okay, so now, next thing, I'm gonna go in priority. What am I hearing? I'm hearing that the drums, the kick, has no air. So the kick is kind of clamping down on itself. Hello, Martin. Hello, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for joining us. We're dealing with some kick space and stuff. Drew's music again. Alberto mixes Drew in the Thursday Mixdown. Marco is here as well. So these kick drums, let's listen to the kick again. Okay, so the guitars are not ready, the strings are not ready, but they're somewhere giving us the vibe of it. The kick drum is, I did this obviously just to prove you that it's a kick drum. The kick drum is too, how can I say that? That it doesn't have the tail that I would expect this kick drum to have if it was the drum kit. So the kit is like forward, it's like coming, it's up front, and the guitars are on the back. I like where the guitars are because I know that's kind of a Drew signature sound, but I want my drums to be way, way far out in the distance, okay? So the first thing I'm gonna do with the kick, I'm gonna try a 2016 in line, okay? This is straight on the kick because that's it. And this is gonna be very important that we find out the right ambience generator or ambiance generator because we have to utilize this system for everything. So if we decide on the 2016, it should be used everywhere. We already did this for the orchestral part. It doesn't mean this is going to work for the drums. I have a couple ideas. It could be this one, since it's important. It could be clear mountain spaces, amazing reverb, absolutely amazing reverb. It could be also, be capital chambers. Capital chambers is also unbelievable, a little bit unruly sometimes. Let's try and give it a vibe. I'm kind of leaning towards this because it's always worked. But let's try this. So it starts at 100%. We completely lost. Is it? Okay, well, no worries because I'm recording this. It is probably the bit rate at which I'm streaming, which could be a little bit too low. And I might need to bump that up a little bit. I followed the new recommendations, but I was kind of worried that the bitrate would have been a little bit on the low side. I'm thinking, hold on, can I push this? In the recording, it won't be a problem. Sometimes it gets blurry, huh? Okay. So, I don't think I can change it. Oh, hold on. I might be able to. Let's bump it up to 12. They say that there's okay. I'm gonna hit okay. I hope we survive, right? All right, hold on. We still here? Am I still streaming? I have no idea if this has actually changed. I went back into where we are. Give me a sign of life that you're here. It's still there. Maybe it hasn't updated the bitrate. It's okay. I'm recording these anyway, so it will be available later on. No worries. Just want to, if it's just my camera, it's okay. As long as you can kind of read and kind of orienteer yourself. Good to know, though. Good to know. Because I abode by the rules, and again, I think I gotta push it a little bit more. Which I did. I doubled it up, but maybe it only picks up when I am, restarting the stream, which I'm not gonna do. All right, let's go. So we lost the kick. Right? We lost it completely, which makes sense. I'm going to try and move these completely forward. Let's hear if we can hear it. And I'm going to go about like 200 milliseconds decay and the absolutely 1 millisecond pre-delay. All right, so let's try that. Diffusion, I still don't know. The EQ sits at 0. I know it's kind of weird to look at, but it's because the lows can be bumped up. The highs can only be bumped down, dipped. So it's kind of off, but don't worry. It's okay the way it is. I'm going to hear it how it is, and I'm going to drop the mix percentage. You heard it? How many different situations we're able to generate? So the pre-delay I wouldn't use for now. I would kind of keep it there. But there's this decay that we can play with, and the position certainly helps. I'm thinking we'll find it. The problem is that the kick kind of comes in only sometimes, right? So this is definitely giving me good vibes. I have good hopes on the clear mountain space as well. Okay, so without and with. absolute night and day. Now I'm doing this on the insert because this is gonna be our kick. I don't really care if there's a loss of super lows. It's about the blend. This is like 100%. And again, these are moves that you want to do with the artist next to you, especially the choir, the vocals, the doubles that we heard. That is gonna be a lot more specific in terms of sound. But I am not playing anything safe. There's no reason. There's no reason. Even if they give you money on the table and tell you like, do something safe, never ever do it safe. Trust me. All right. So don't worry about that. It's gonna work even if it sounds a little bit there. Maybe we'll lose subwoofer. What is about subwoofer energy? It's all about the vibes. But let's try the Clear Mountain first because this is our system. So Clear Mountain's got 3 spaces. It's got the studio, the mix these, and the Roscoe. Okay, I'm gonna keep it 100% wet, but actually I'm gonna do the same we did before, 50% wet, and I'm going to introduce these one by one. So studio is the shortest. Mix these is the medium one, and the Roscoe is the louder, the longer tail. Okay. The advantage of these over the 2016 is that these 3 systems will help us design a kick drum that has a little bit more tail while also being more distant. So be very wary of these. One thing is the placement. One thing is the aura of it, how it goes back. They're 2 different factors. Early, late, okay? Just so you know that you saw it many times with reverbs. Early is where it sits in your soundstage. How far in the Z-axis that is. To me, that is Z-axis. To some people, it's Y-axis. I don't know why those people say it that way. To me, it's the Z-axis. It's this one, okay? Farther or closer. But then there's the tail, which defines like how big is the space in relationship to where the instrument is. No matter where it is, how big is that? Okay, because it can be close in a small space, can be far in a small space, can be far in a huge space. You get the idea. Ciao. Okay, so. Okay, so I absolutely love the Roscoe for the tail, but I don't like and I kind of liked a little bit of the studio, but I think it sits better with the 2016 in terms of distance. So I'm gonna do, it's super important, I'm gonna do a send to this. I'm gonna do no effect, stereo. We're gonna send these to all effects, and we're gonna call this kick tail. And on kick tail, which popped up, you'll see like 3 light years, which is not at here. 3 light years far away from home. Is it? No, wait. Hold on. I'm now dragging this thing around. Oh, the kick tail, found it. Boom. Okay. Why is kick tail here though? She should actually go here. See the minefield of Nuendo? It's insane. Okay, so here, that's good. All right. So now we need to make these 100%, obviously. And we're going to keep these with the 2016. I'm not even going to try capital chambers. That's how forgetful I am. Let me do these on V drums. And then we're going to send to kick tail. Okay, let's try this. I'm gonna be honest with you. For some reason, it sounded to me better when I had it on. Unbelievable! I cannot believe this is happening. It sounded better on insert. It sounded better on insert, but with the tail. The reason for this is that these 2 reverbs are combining themselves together in a way. Have you used the Apollo, the Apogee Opto 3 with your template? Yes, we do. I think I just saw it. Hold on. We used the Opto 3. We use it on the frame drums. Here we go. Last episode, we did the frame drums with Opto 3, soft tube echoes, and clear mountain spaces with the flip LR inverted version. A swapped stereo. This, yes. Unbelievable. It completely forged the frame drums. Yeah. So let me try and see if we can do this. The 2016 sounded to me a little bit too vintage on Drew's kick approach, and the Clear Mountain sounded to me more like the thing I wanted. So I might go back and dial this in. Let me see. No, actually, you know what? This is good. This is good. The studio with the Roscoe together is great. I keep thinking Hazards. Do you think of the TV series? You know, with the General Lee thing with Roscoe? I don't know why. Right? I mean, I know why, but I just cannot disconnect my brain from that. Do you prefer the Apogee against the UAD Opto 3? I have both, and they're complete. I'm not even gonna say you never heard of it. Come on, it's impossible. You're gonna see the series, you're gonna go like, yeah, I remember that. I'm not even going, the 00 car that they would jump in from the windows. Come on, it became like a Hazard car wash way of saying when you wash your car by going through a huge puddle of water, muddy water. Doesn't ring any bell. No, it's impossible. If you look it up, you go like, okay, yeah, I've seen that series. I used to watch it all the time. I was a kid. No wonder I turned out these awesome. No, it's a good series. So this one sounds exactly the ticket. Studio plus Roscoe. I'm thinking this plugin has a way. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the blend you get with the 3 spaces that makes it very unique. So the question was, do you prefer the Apogee against the UAD Opto 3? I have both. And I guarantee you, also, I've learned it. The UAD, the LA3A, the UAD is amazing on what the real LA3 would do on, say, piano or acoustic guitar. It's just the way it is. It is like that. It be like that. But the Opto 3A by Apogee can go a little bit further into being kind of bringing back the back content more. It's got a completely different vibe. I love the high pass and the contour. Those two things offset it from something else. You could easily have both, which I do. And there's piano here, so we might use the LA3 actually on piano. I'm thinking, because I usually go to the LA3 and also Opto and also guitars, acoustic ones. They got different vibes. They are absolutely the same. Oh, you had it and sold it. No, the LA3A by UAD is a legit good plugin. It's an old school version. It used to have a UAI this big. It was impossible to use, but it sounded really good. I think they redid it right here. I'm using the satellite that was Marcos. These plugins are Swiss powered. They do smell like great chocolate, in fact. Yeah. Audio leveler, Teletronics LA3. Like if chocolate was the only thing Swiss people would do amazing. Come on. But, it's food. So it's actually treats. So that rings many bells. So it's still got a small interface, but yeah. So we have it. Now, where were we? So the kick is done. I love the kick tail this way. We're going to do this combo. Let me hear. The hi-hat is completely off. And I'm probably going to try the kick tail as well. Just because I have this vibe that it could work. Let me see this. Now I'm going to do something super crazy. And you might think like this guy is doing way too much on hi-hats. Now here, if you were really nuts about doing something specific because it's important, you would use the Ampex here. Look what I have. I have Alex B's Animod, this one. Now, to use this thing on a hi-hat, you would go like, no, this guy, no. Please don't quit the stream on me right now. We're going to try this. I'm going to try the 456, but I'm going to go for some delay on it. Okay, I need to hear the delay as it is. Let's try that. I just want to have some vibe from the hi-hat because it's a little bit flat. So we could build something that is kind of weird and rhythmic. Let's try that. Okay, it's actually sounding unbelievably good. Did I put it on the right track? Yes. I don't really hear it that much though. Why isn't it pushing like crazy, the level here? Oh, because I went tape delay. Doesn't matter, I'm fine. I mean, don't tell me this doesn't sound better. The delay isn't there with the spark. Yes, no. And I'm telling you, the delay is, for me, it's a huge part. But I've worked with a great engineer, and I was still in Berlin. He sent me a session. This plugin was on bass, and I had this plugin, and I had never kind of used it on mix bus and stuff like that. It wasn't kind of my thing. He used it on bass. And I was like, this plugin on bass is unbelievable. It was a little bit of a vintage kind of rock vibe. It was great. I'm thinking we might even try that. So let's mix this in. I think it works. It's going to utilize like 300 gazillion CPU cycles for a hi-hat. But now, overheads. Also on guitar bosses, yeah. You hear how it blends? It's amazing. We don't even have reverb yet. Okay, so all of this is theoretical. We need guitars now. Our reference, our frame of reference, were guitars. Here. I don't want these, okay? How can you, and this is not me, this is absolutely not me. I'm gonna, listen, I'm not celebrating myself. I'm celebrating something else. How can a single hi-hat track with that kick instantly place your brain into those amazing, I wouldn't even say summer concerts. Hear me out. You know what I'm looking for? I'm looking for the summer nights, windows down, in which you were listening to a CD or tape would be much more lo-fi, of an amazing song that would kind of move you, and you were like 16, okay? Something like that. You know? So it's not a summer concert, it's a summer night, and you're driving. You're not driving because you're 16. In Italy, you can't drive at 16, but in the US, you can. So it's okay. You know, you have your car, and you're listening to it, and you're like, yes. So it's the vibe of these kind of longer vintage reverbs, tons of songs we made that way. I love this. This is okay. And it's balancing better this way. So now what I hear that I would do, Martin says, the Pulsar Modular P821 is living on my two bus for the tape vibe for my whole mixes. I heard that it was, is it 821 because it's the Studer 820-ish series? Because that is a one heck of a tape machine to run to. It's a beautiful sound. So if it's modeled after that, and it's modeled right, obviously it sounds good. Yeah, absolutely. So now what I want to do is I want to create some compression for the drums right off the bat, right there. So we're going to create another effect. And we're going to add, let's call these drums para. Now, this has gone so far. I used to do parallel drums two ways. One was the 33609 that I have in my racks here, which we're gonna use, and the other one was the Fatso. But since I had just one, sometimes I wouldn't want to use both of them, but I used to do this, and then it was fine. Now, all effects is wrong. We're gonna use all drums, and we're gonna use the 33609. I could use the SC, but you know. And it's real easy. We go gain 0 or 4, 1.5 to 1. The limiter doesn't even exist for me. 100 milliseconds recovery. And we've got to put in some stuff. I'm going to put the kick here. Drums para is going to throw me off. Forgive me. Drums 33609, because that's it. You don't think so? It has the Ampex 456 and a 900? No, Ampex 456 and 900 are the tape reels, the formulas that are on the machine. So the tape, it can be 456 or 900. You had to calibrate the tape differently, but that is the reel. The machine could be a Studer 820 series. Yeah. If UAD is going to port the FATs, I'm going to buy it straight away, even without damming it. Same for the Culture Vulture. Yeah. Which I have both in hardware. So, and UAD makes the closest so far thing ever. Like the Fatso absolutely has no equivalent. Although Greg does the, what is it, the UBK2? That one's kind of cool, but it's a different vibe. So, I don't want to hear that. Yeah. Well, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that either. I have, since we're talking Culture Vulture, I have my bass line connected to channel 1 of the Culture Vulture and the bass station 2 that you see right here on channel 2. Like always. And I compose with these two synths or bass line going through the Culture Vulture, coming back to it. So, drums, let's do that. Yeah, it's just de facto standard. So my objective is to have the kick compress, and then we'll decide, like compress kind of a lot, or not a lot, but like, you know, just see it move, and then we'll address where it needs to go. You hear that thing? It's just pure sound enhancement. The 33609 is unbelievable. The real one does the same on 1.5. It just helps the drums. It doesn't actually sound like we're crashing anything. But obviously this is too much, okay? So a little bit here and there. Let me do a full line of things with the, except for the all kicks here. Let me do a full line of these to the 33609, just so that we have it. Now, with this much power, I can drop the kick down even a little bit, I think. Okay, I'm good. I like these. Let me see. I did it on the toms. I don't want to do it on the toms. Room. Okay, now I'm going to do something I don't usually do. I'm going to take the room and the overheads, and I'm going to run them through a reverb we did for the orchestral part. Let me try. This could maybe not work. Let me try the Amethyst Hall, just because it's such a sort of like a abstract version. Okay. Now the snare is completely off, right? Because we haven't mixed that. So, and it's very vibey, right, Martin? Yeah. And I think it's kind of getting a shape. There's no mix bass, there's no drum bass compression. I need to do that because I want it more compacted. I have a couple ideas. You say, Martin, I have the Audioscape version of the 33609, but somehow I didn't vibe with it. Have you ever compared it against the UAD? Did I do a video of it? I did do a video. Oh, no, wait. It wasn't Audioscape. It was Kive. But Kive has, it's a different 33609. Ethan, what's wrong with checking some weird stuff on Alberto's Instagram? My bot itself is making fun of me. Against the hardware, no. The UAD, as far as what I've tried, is the closest you can get. Again, for better or worse. There's nobody that has really done tons of like getting close. The hardware still has kind of an edge, although I have to say this. My version is the J/D, okay? The version that UAD modeled is, I think, the A, which is the original one that is fully Class A, and the metal pot one. It's usually referred to as the one with the metal pots. I personally, as much as we would love to have a, A, for example, I think the best sound of the 33609 is the JD. Did I do the JD or did I do the A? Let me see if there's, because it's licensed, so maybe they wrote it. UAD here. Oh, it's a C. Okay, so it's not even an A. But I think it's still, was the C Class A? No idea. All right, doesn't matter. So it's got the right vibe. And sometimes I use it on stuff I don't like the 33609. And it is because it's sounding close to what a 609 would do. And I'm not always a fan of that, especially on a mix bus. But it is an amazing mix bus compressor. I mean, I don't even have to introduce that. Or are we digressing this much? Doesn't matter. So, okay, these vibes, the snare's completely off. I'm not losing my train of thought on these, don't worry. So let's try this part where there's a snare. Okay, here. Hear how the snare is completely not there? Now, let me try and see if we do the same trick. We call these kick tail, but maybe it's more of a drum tail. This plugin, people, unbelievable. If you heard it, same settings of the kick, just moving the mix. The snare's going back where the drummer is. Boom. This thing is amazing. This thing is the best room emulation reverb you can get that has an algorithm. This thing isn't even, first off, this thing is fake. The real one is a real unit, okay? And it's got chips in there and stuff. There's no IR, okay? This is not impulse response or anything. This is just people designing the vibe of how a room works. You sell everything, like these streams to you are torture. Marco is okay. I think he's like, maybe he's trying to say like, I don't need that. But you sold it and now like this thing works so well. I don't know. I mean, you probably sold so many plugins and bought so many. I'm gonna keep doing this for a long time. But I'm not picking them on purpose. Notice we haven't used one single EQ yet, except for the Pro Q on the hi-hat. And it's feeling pretty good. Yeah, you're using you sold way too many. Yeah. All right, so we got these. Now, while the drums are vibing, I think we need, let me take a little bit of a longer part. I know we're losing sub, we're losing punch of the key of the snare. I'm going against pretty much everything you would believe like a drum kit has to have. But to me, there's absolutely no reason in this music to have a punchy 4 on the floor, whatever, like drum kit. It needs to float, you know. Marco says, I have as well, but rarely used it. I rarely need room reverbs. You see how I'm using it. You wouldn't even think it's room reverb because you see me use that. But it wouldn't be room reverb. It's like the snare is placing itself somewhere else, you know? So, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my drums. I'm going to take the guitars we do have. I wanted the orchestral, okay? And we're going to do some drum bass, okay? And I'm probably gonna try these as well. We had an old drums here. Did we do? Okay, we had one. Okay, let's try and give it a little bit of vibe. This is a reverb on the whole of the drum bass before we hit bloom. Okay, I don't hear my guitars. Where's the guitars? This part here has acoustics. Okay. They sound so off without the right atmosphere. I was like, why is this sounding so weird? Okay, but I wanted maybe this part. Where are they? I don't know. Sorry. Okay, I have the loop completely wrong. This one. Okay. Okay, I think I like this. Let me put it after. We're gonna do 1176's LN Legacy. No, Legacy? No. I've used the Legacy for so long, but now, you know what? Rev E. Boom. Let's try this thing here. And I'm gonna try and use... It is amazing, right? The Clear Mountains, just like the record thing. I mean, you know, Clear Mountain's done quite a lot of influential acts in music. So it feels like, okay, this is placing it where it needs to be. And I think especially for this kind of vibe, I use it in my music as well. So it's not really like classic rock or side rock oriented. So we're going to try this thing. Hold on. We're going to try and use this. And we're going to go CLA 76 stereo. Because I'm telling you, these two are not necessarily one worse than the other. But what I want to do is get some compression on the drums. Let's try that. Okay, so this thing is working off the bat. So if it works good, I'm not even gonna do the comparison. Now we should do it on stream probably. For the sake of education, we should. I want to make it absolutely clear. If I were mixing these real world, like I would, if it works, I would take the CLA 76 and just dump it. Maybe it would do better. It's at that level where I'm saying it's good. What I want you to concentrate on is that I'm going to keep both on screen because you know the alternative, but I'm going to move the attack on the 1176 Rev E, the UAD. I'm going to move it to 1, and then while it's going, I'm going to go close to 2/3, okay? I want you to concentrate on the snare and the feeling of where the kit is. It is unbelievable what it does. Even if it's kind of smashing the whole kit down, it's just so good. Okay, so let's try this. I'm gonna start from 1, and then I'm gonna open up the attack to 2/3. You're gonna hear it's just enough for the kit to poke out. there's the moment of the 1176 in the attack knob, and UAD did an amazing job, that it places the transient exactly where you want it. There's just a tiny little bit that passes through, but not everything. And this is all your ears need to get the perception of the detail without your production pushing transients out. Sometimes you overdo punch. Punch is a feel sometimes, So this is just unbelievable. And Martin says, nice oxide. I use it all the time on drums, but that's also a great way, like a great tape vibe thing. And the purple 1176 from PA, I have the sub. I haven't updated it. Maybe it's an older one. I've never used it. But we're good to go. But just so I prove a point, I'm going to do the same thing here, okay? 4 to 1, attack, release 5-ish, but we're going to test it out. And attack, we don't know where. Let's try it. It's automatic drums, okay, mixing done. Is it? It's just unbelievable. Now, I gotta be honest, I'm glad I did the comparison because they are both unbelievable. Maybe for this genre, for the psy rock vintage vibe, the UAD wins. But I've seen the waves on top Nashville country stuff. It was there, and it was mixed, printed, mastered, sent. So that thing down there is being used on like full drums and it works. Let's try and do a comparison. You want to hear what I think? You want to know what I think? No, I mean, honestly, both are amazing. But if I were to go for like mains, for something that is nailing the coffin of legendary sound and the drums and splash, the splash of the snare and the way it breathes up, it's the waves. It's the waves. It's just like I heard it so many times that, and I didn't know, but now it's triggering my long-term memory of like it splashes the way it should, and it lets the kit breathe in a specific way. The UAD is a little bit more artistic. I could fix it now that I know the comparison with the waves. I loved it. It's got a little bit of thud of 200, and I think the waves actually cleans the 200 somehow, and it makes the drum kit less real somehow. It makes it a little bit more pushy. So I am going to use the one I've used the most. Oh my God, I committed. There's no coming back. It's waves. I committed. We're doing that. Okay. Then what we could do, but it's probably gonna be overkill, is we could use Orion on it. I'm thinking we should, I'm trying to get myself to say, don't overdo the drums. Don't overdo the drums, The Waves CLA 76, it's a plugin, the blue one as well, I have used gazillions of times. Okay. So let's try Orion and let's move all the blooms down because it looks like I'm bussing a lot of stuff for soon. But what I want to do here, I wanted to gate these. Okay. So let's do 60. We have so many gates that would work. But let me try the ultimate comp here. This is going to be a simple task. So, is the gate here? Oh, they didn't do the gates. Okay. Okay. Here we go. here, comp. We go, no, more, sorry. We go GC1, boom, already done. Okay, that's good. Easy G actually is the one I wanted. So threshold, okay, there. We don't need tons of range. Release, we kind of go very, very slow. That's it. So without, with. I don't even know if you kind of hear, now you probably hear it because it was starting to get loud. Okay, drums. So do I need to explain how these works? I'll do it as we go. Now you hear the hiss, right? It's the tape echoes by Softtube that is building up in the compression stages, and it's obviously becoming noisy. It's actually coming up a tiny little bit more. Let's be a little bit more here. Right. Oh, it's got a hold as well. Yeah, hold 50 and then go. The God particle I use as a limiter, just a touch of it. Of course, the lows, mids, and highs pushing. Yeah, I usually don't touch the EQ much on the God particle. I just give it that little bit of sparkle thing and kind of push towards the limiter. But I don't think I actually compress. Tinnitus is louder than the hiss. I know. I don't have horrible ear ringing, but I actually don't have it any longer. I think it's we could talk about that on Discord, but I'm with you on this one now. Yeah, too much clubbing, too much playing, old sort of hard rock, metal, prog rock, whatever, doom metal, whatever. When I was a kid, no, I did play some, but not a lot of it. But generally, just being too close to drummers. That's been the thing, or just genetics. But it got a lot better. I couldn't say I have like precise ringing, but I do a little bit. So disable everything and start enabling left to right. Absolutely. I do that kind of the same. You know what I'm thinking we'll do here? We'll recover some of the EQs. I'm actually going to go backwards. Let's try this. It's early to do these on drums because we have rough ideas, but I want to get the guitars done as well today. I am leaving this stream right now. I wanna be as excited as a gamer streamer on Twitch when they go, this is OP. This is OP. Orion is OP. Have you heard what it does? It's bringing back subwoofer content through the amount of processing we've done, which is unruly. The tape on hats, the reverbs on kicks. It brings it back and it sounds amazing. So part of that is me. I had a good call in putting the reverbs on the kicks and snares on insert. Okay. So once we got the vibe, boom. So Cradle will be happy. They like the music I do, but I sent them some super fun emails when we were talking about these because of the courses I'm working on with other people and stuff who use these. I had not tried Orion yet. I didn't know about it. I go on their website and I say, oh, these people make something else on top of God Particle. And I try these and I'm like, and I'm tapping and I'm like, all right, put these in the list as well, in the cart, and then we'll deal with it. It's insane. It's insane. And we haven't touched anything. Just this could be good. Let me try Grit. Okay, so it's fun. Now I'm like just speaking my mantra. I'm not buying any plugins this year. Yeah, all right. It is true. And they reached out to do a beta test for them. That I love what they do. They're crazy developers. Like these two plugins are unbelievable. And there's a couple free things as well for sound design that I love that I got as well. sort of like weird tape machines effects and stuff. But these and the God particle are insane. So what is happening here is we're gaining a lot of the vibe, while we know easily that loud and grid we don't really know, but I think sub and low I kind of like. So yeah, nice. Okay, so they have good stuff coming up. That's good. I didn't know about that. Cool. I like it that way. And why do I close plugins before explaining to you what I've done? I get excited and just go like, go, close. Because in real world, I would not talk this much, believe it or not, especially if I'm alone. But I have some imaginary friends I like to talk to, but not this much with real friends like you. So I tend to close the plugin and go like, why did I close it? I have to explain this. Everything is amazing. It's got to be a shame that I'm not even going to try this stuff because we got like 10 minutes left or something. But there's a little bit of I don't think we're clipping on stream. I think there's something. Let me check levels. We're not clipping that. Let me see. See how low I am? But it is clipping sometimes. Okay. So maybe I can drop that a little bit. Hold on. Maybe it is Sonobus. It could even be whatever. It could be buffering or something. Could be. Maybe yes, maybe no. Let's try and lower this a tiny little bit. Why am I leveling at +6? Oh, yeah, of course. Right. No, though. Not here. Why am I pushing this so much? Because this is them. Doesn't quite matter. Okay, we're safe. I thought I had completely screwed it up. Let me go here. Again, the recording won't have it, but then, you heard it on snare, although it might be, could it be the plugin? I'm thinking it's something else, but let's try a little bit lower. You see, the levels aren't really an issue. I'm like really low. So it's not clipping here. So it's either, I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. Could be buffering, probably. I don't know. Could be. But okay, so what did I want to do? Okay, so these I like. I'm gonna try just those two, loud and the sub and the low, and then I want to try I really like where the drums are right now. I think we gained a tiny little bit, so they could stay a little bit lower. That's okay. Let me try and see where our guitars are going here for this part. And it's good. I'm gonna keep this section here. Let's see. Who's the guitar that's playing here? Okay, so it's an AC lead, this one. Okay, so these two need to work together. Hey, Mars Monkey, hello, welcome. We're dealing with guitars. Don't worry about the whole stream's recorded. We're good to go. Everything's fine. But we're dealing with guitars. How you doing? Is everything okay? Hope you're having a good Thursday. It's almost the weekend. That's why this show will be amazing, because Thursday is really the new Friday, at least. It wasn't you don't have a guitar right now. All right. Good. No, I love guitar. I wish I could play guitar. I love guitar. It's just impossible. It's 6 tiny keyboards, a perfect fourth apart. Nah. Okay, so this strumming needs to be a tiny little bit cooler, and I'd be hard pressed to use a vintage EQ or something, and I'm not gonna use it. We're gonna try and do this with some fixing first, and then we're gonna do that. Play guitar for 8 years. All right. That's gonna scratch a lot of surface. I've played it 0 years, so good to see you too. All right, let's try this. I'm gonna keep the two guitars together because I wanna edit one as I hear the other. It doesn't make sense to go 30 years ago. Well, about some things you don't forget, so. I'm getting the craziest, most amazing idea. Follow me on this. This is again vibes. Don't play it ever safe. Nobody cares to play it safe. They hire you and they say, do something just so we can hear. Don't do something just so we can hear. You do it with the artist, you do it without the artist. They trust you or not, I don't know. They say they trust you, they never do. So, unfortunately. But don't wing it. Go for sound, okay? I heard what Drew has done on this drum, it's got the chance to really breathe down there, okay? So I want to carve something in here on the direct, but we're going to make a duplicate and we're going to push it up, okay, to kind of give it a vibe in it. Now, let me see what is it? 3-5, obviously, the Brilliance pack area, okay? So I'm getting ideas on a special kind of effect that I want to do on this one. Let me first balance it though. Maybe this one I don't want to have right now. Okay, stay with me. Without and with 542 hertz, okay? Here are the two of them. And then I'm gonna turn this bell on. Don't listen, feel, okay? Feel the mix, feel the vibe. I'm telling you, what did we say at the beginning? You're 18, you're 20, you're now 50, but you are remembering when you were 20 and it was a summer night and you were blasting a CD with something that had the right vibes in a summer night. It's not a summer concert, it's your car, but it's a summer night. It's those amazing years, okay? This guitar fits the puzzle. I'm building it. Without and with the 500. Feel the soundstage. Amazing. It's okay. We do this. This stays. But now we build something for the acoustics, okay? So AC space, ACG space. Horrible that we're like closing to theoretically ending the mix, the stream. And we just had these sort of like moment. So what do? Do we put it here? All of the effects, we put them here. I am putting this in the all acoustic guitars, because this is part of the vibe of it, okay? So it's part of the guitars themselves. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna go acoustic guitar space. I'm gonna send Unity to it, doesn't matter. And now I'm thinking, what do I wanna do? Because I'm not sure what I wanna do. No, I know. I want to have a reverb on it. Which reverb I'm thinking of? Man, I'm there. We're doing this. Stay back. This is a professional at work. We're going LX 480 because that's what they were using. And I'm going to go Relab. If you don't know Relab and this plugin, you are a doppelganger and you're an alien that is impersonating a human being. Right? Oh, also shimmer. That would be good. Let's first try and see if this fits the bill. Then we'll use some delay as well. But I'm too curious. I'm going to put this third, okay? Because we want things before and after. I need to hear that space coming up. So I don't mean to say I know how to use this thing, but I saw the remote many times being used by a lot of people. So there's a quick that is used. That is good. These are the two There's the RTM, the shape, the SPR, the size thing that we're going to use. And there's the pre-delay, which is very important. The blending. Let me try and get something that I'm thinking more like a 2.4 kind of thing. Let's see. Let's see where we are. You see, you can go so insane on this thing. I think it's gonna set the way we want. I don't want to explain everything, blah, 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 but let's try this. Okay, okay, I heard it. A little bit too long. Okay, so let's try something else. Okay, I'm thinking it's good. I now want it longer. Hold on. The high multiply is way low. Okay. The crossover, we go lower on this. And I want the bass crossover, we keep it around. It's kind of an acoustic thing, so let's keep it going lower here. Let's try that. Little bit of... No, 6 is okay. So many controls on this thing. Alberto used, yeah, okay, okay. You are helping yourself out. Good, yes. So I'm preparing something and then I'm gonna EQ it though. So beforehand. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, this is what I wanted. However, I also want, I want a Pro Q again. Let's try and deal with this. And let's try and do a brilliance. Do I have the brilliance back? It's impossible that I don't have it. It's impossible. There is no way I don't have it. I have all... Hold on. There we go. I want the box, not the rack. This thing. We keep it here. It's actually after. So let me do it right. It's like this. Okay. Let me, no, it's actually like this. Sorry. Okay. Let me prepare this thing. I want to get the Helmholtz a little bit, but I want to do this with the other guitar in sync here. Okay, you heard it? Let's try and bypass all of this. EQ, reverb, and thing. It's not even a reverb. It's kind of like helping this develop. So I'm gonna mute it. like this. But I want to delay this thing. Let's hope Martin hasn't sold these as well. You can't possibly not have sound toys. Like, it's just, you're again a doppelganger and you were replaced by an alien, because people are like, what is sound toys? I don't know. It's like, he's an alien. All right, let's try these after the reverb. You bought them back. All right, so these you already did. Good. So let me see. I don't really want to do... There's so much I'd like to try. Let me try cheap tape. Actually, tube tape. Okay. Ooh, I already nailed it. You heard that slap? That's the thing. Well, let me mute the other guitar for a second. Okay, I like this. We're maybe pushing it a little bit too far. Let's try this. Okay, and now just to level it. All right. WA Production has a nice deal as well. I haven't tried it. Never sell them anymore. Right, don't. Okay, so we're doing the thing here again, but just to try and level these up. Okay, I thought it would sound better. I think I like it better without. Yeah, okay. I like it that way. All right, so it's acoustic space, blah blah blah. Okay, now let me work on this one, although I like this one already. So you know what we're gonna do with this one, the left one? We're gonna go 560. Just that. Another amazing EQ on guitars on anything. This is beautiful. And since we talked about this, let me try an LA. Now, a feather touch, because this is already very, very, very right. And I'm thinking I might use it on the other one. I don't want to kind of overdo it, but it's got that vibe that could be good. Let's try this. Absolutely not. Horrendous. I don't like it, you know? Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. This completely kills the movement of the whole guitar, bass, whatever. Doesn't work. So let me see, is there anything else that's kind of significant in this area? Because we're mixing in sections, things are becoming ready, but I'm going instinctual on it. Let's try this. There's a synth bass, for sure. I wonder how that will fit the vibe. But we don't know if the bass is fine. But this one looked okay. The synth basses here. Let's try that. Okay, okay. This one has it. What did we do here, though? Oh, we already did something. Pro MB, not gonna touch it. It's my past self did that. And this. Do you know what this plugin is? This is George Massenburg's digital version of his way of thinking in cues. And then there's the DRC2. If you don't know how to use them, on my Patreon, there's a full masterclass on these two. That is good, obviously. And it was blessed by GML, you know? So, just saying, brushing my silvers. So, anyway, and this was a commercial hidden. I like this. I like this a lot. You know what we could use here? Orion. Again, I'm thinking I have a couple more ideas. Let me try and use. Let me actually not use this. I understand this is a hit. Let me try and use the. What do I want to use here? Kind of something that compresses this dude. Let's try this. Now I would rather use maybe these on real bass, but I've got a vibe for it. I'm thinking it's gonna work. It becomes obviously extremely loud because I don't know why they do it. Record instantly. Maybe it's my own taste, but I've used these on bass in general when I don't know what to do. Yup, done. It fits the bill. It sounds to me that it's losing lows, but it's becoming supportive in a way. I love this. I love what it become. So let's try and use the God particle just because. Let me move it down here. I would use the God particle as something that is almost at the end of bus B, if not bus C already. So let's try and vibe with it for a second. I don't even know. Limiter 5 dBs, it's just, what's that preset doing? And I'm gonna tailor these on this part, and then we forget we have the God particle on. But then when we disable it a week after, it's like, wow, it's horrible. Okay, I'm not fond of those symbols. We'll deal with them in a second, but there we go. This. And it's already a lot, okay? The problem is I have to bypass these two. There's gonna be a little bit of a lag, but let's try without and then with. Yeah, I want to do 3%, and I'm liking this with a little bit less mids, and maybe this is a little bit too much. Are we pushing the limiter? No. Okay, let's try it again without and with, without watching. I'm losing some highs though, that I gotta be honest with you, I kind of liked in this case. I'm very, 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 okay, but let's keep it this way. But for now, let's go, there's also gold clip. I'm curious, am I clipping here? I shouldn't, let's see. We want to hear what it is without. Let's try without and then with. It is a little bit louder, but there's that thing. I like that. All right, so I could easily kind of make it a tad little bit brighter. So this would go very well in tandem with the final EQing of things, okay? So for now, I'm kind of leaning, I like where that is. I like where that is. Let's keep it there, but I need something to offset the highs a little bit because it's giving me that congestion, but it's making everything a little bit more, yeah, it's blended nicely. And I think a low volume, it kind of makes it less spiky. Let's do one. Let's bring the orchestral parts in and hope that they work. Why can't I hear that? Why can't I hear the orchestral parts that much? They should, right? Am I on the right track here? Yeah. Okay, let me try and bump them up a little bit. Yeah, okay. But it's those high strings. Where are they? It's not that. Who's the high violins? Maybe these ones. It says violins. I should read it. No. So okay. So I'm moving stuff around for the worst. That part is the cellos, which is absolutely fine, and it sounds nice even pushed up. There's kind of a synth somewhere. Can you hear it? Who is that? Ah, I know who that is. Hold on. I know who that is. The orchestral part needs to be on, otherwise we only hear the reverb from pre-send. Okay, so strings. I cannot stop. I will stop in a second the stream just because, I mean, we go too long on it, but there's something very important to do. And when duty calls in this way, this is how we do it. So I've been dealing with these strings for years. We need to kind of give those highs, those little violins, a little bit more push without doing too much. Okay, almost. See how variable they are? It tends to bring us to think this is the melody, this is actually the singer, but I'm already thinking how it will feel with the singer on. It feels much better. There's something we gotta do, which is this. Before Bloom, we do Varis on this. And this is these all the orchestral parts? Yes. Did I have a massive passive here? Oh, hold on. This is disabled. This shouldn't be disabled. Now it makes sense. Now demo active, you don't demo active me. This is working. All right. Hold on. I got it. Is this disabled as well? No. Okay. So maybe this is what you hear. I demonstrated to you that my ears were like, this isn't working. But this was off. We did this, and I've used this in a lot of orchestral scenarios. It works amazingly. Let's try that again. Now it's on. I'm not saying the optos, the Mac DSPs weren't working. I'm thinking I'm gonna leave them on because it adds to the oily factor. But there is a very subtle difference in the soundstage of the orchestral part, and this is the ticket. But I'm thinking this won't work with the beginning though, because we've got stuff here. Fingers crossed it works. Oh, good. There's no orchestral part. No, there is. I know it's coming. Oh, there isn't. Okay, let's go here. I don't think it's changing things for the worst. So I'm gonna keep for the worst. So I'm gonna keep them. How about the I don't think the Varys is needed though. Maybe later on, but not now. Okay. So we got our drums going. We got some of our basses here. The synth, this is a huge part. We got the orchestral part, it's not really fitting where it should be, but we got some of the acoustics in. We got some of other electric ones. Okay, how about the drums as a whole here? Okay, I'm gonna retouch these just a little bit. I'm gonna go just Pro Q. I think it's just could be also did I do a multi-band here? The frame drums are great. I think I like where they're kind of weird and how they sit, but I just want a little bit more of vibe. They sound like they're live, exactly, which is what I wanted from that kind of scenario. But maybe there's kind of a little bit on the side channel that I want to take out. Let's try that. Boom. Guys, it's impossible that talking about this stuff after an hour and 45 minutes, you nail a frequency down. Like, this was luck. And maybe not, but this has completely exhausted my energies. But now you save, you make a backup, and you go watch TV, whatever, make love to your beautiful partners. That'd be a great idea. I'm not suggesting anything. You do what you want with your life. This is good though. Let's try without and with. I'm hearing some phase, man. These Atom speakers are off the hook. Off the hook. So it's just there's that phase. I like how live they feel. I like the atmosphere, but it was a little bit bothering me in that high context of my head wanted to twist a little bit. So we're gonna hear the frame drums without anything because Martin asked about the Opto 3. Then I'm gonna instantiate the plugins one by one so that you hear how there's tons of them. We're never gonna feed them on screen. We're done. Okay, well this one I won't do because it's just a thing. Okay. So you watch me do them one by one, okay? As they're playing. And if I go back, then we close it. This was busy today, huh? Huge mix. Almost the same, but the compressor just gives it, and then it's apogee. It just vibes in a way. It's just got that attitude, that sound. So now I'm gonna shut up and go. hear the tail. So it's a lot, and there's also a lot of sound being asked by the clear mountain. I almost could have said a little bit less wet, but the problem is that the frame drums without reverb, they sound a little bit easier to understand, but they're too narrow in my opinion. And I want that space. I want the shimmer of the highs. But then what happened was the 400 was getting too much. So you have an EQ function here, but it's not like after everything, I take the side channel and I just dip it in and I can feel the space, but it's not obvious. It's not all of it. It's just the lows and highs of the side content without anything else. Huh? It's the ticket, you know, and it's context. Absolutely. Like Mars is saying, it is context. Don't solo stuff around unless it's technical. It's just each time you'll put stuff in and say, oh, no, it doesn't work. Let's go back to it, because now working context, people are about context. They want to hear this song to drift away from accounting, taxes, war, whatever, all the crap that's going on right now. People put a song like this, they are invincible, okay? We gotta give them God mode, you know, IDDQD there. When they listen to it, 100% health. They cannot be hit, you know, for those 4 minutes of the song, everything's awesome, you know, at least for those 4 minutes of a song. Then we go back to it. So this was a huge event. Like, it was a stream, but we did a lot of random things, and I think a lot of these worked out really well. So we're building the sound. Is the song done? Absolutely not. Did we give it a lot more vibe? Yes, for sure. Okay. So this is gonna get recorded. This is gonna get on Patreon. As usual, remember, this is only possible because of the support people give me on Patreon. So, you know what I mean by that. You know, there's tons of resources on my Patreon. It's been almost it's actually been 5 years that we've done this. So if you like mixing, if you like how I approached what I did, if you think it's the honest comparisons, we're not shilling for plugins. We're working with music. We're making music, and we try different tools. There's a lot of honest reviews. There's a lot of I don't care about who's the latest and greatest, game changers. There's no game changers. It's just us dealing with emotions, okay? And music that goes through it. So I hope this was useful. It's amazing that while I'm talking, there's that tape echo delay that it's chilling in the background. I can hear it through the speakers, and it's just great. So let me remind you, because Ethan just said something that is about Twitch. Let me remind you about the schedule here. We got a Monday that is a Modular Mondays event. We do sound synthesis with Modular. We design imaginary video game soundtracks. This is one of my favorite events I have done in years and years. And Thursday is the Thursday Mixdown with Alberto Rizzo Scatino. Okay? So, with that voice. Okay? And now I'm going to send the coda to it, which you're going to love if you've just been here. All right? So, see you soon. As usual, see you on Discord if you're a patron. It just costs a little bit of money. It's about, what is it? $13 a month to get everything? Whatever. I haven't even risen. It's not enough. It should be twice as much. Before I change my mind, I'm going to push a button. But before I push the end button, which is not really the end, it's just a transition, it's going to be, as you know, me saying to you, thank you very much for being here. I hope your music keeps going better and better. Keep making it. Don't stop. The world needs us. Ciao.